everybody, and welcome to Everything But the Cats, where we talk about everything but the cats. My name is Gage.
I'm DJ.
And we are the two best friends that anybody could have. Uh, we're going to be finishing up our mailbag episode today, which is where we're going through questions that our friends have sent us to try to get to know us better or just to see how we would handle the deep philosophical matters of life, such as uh, we already did that one. It's just giving me ones we've already done. Anyways,
We will not do any new questions this episode.
we're actually only going to answer the questions that we've already done and go from there. Honestly, we're just gonna do them all over again.
We're playing the newlywed game, but with our past selves.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so the first question, and I don't think we actually did this one. I don't think we did this one.
Okay.
It's from our friend Bryce Reeser, and
Didn't do
it's
it.
what would your autobiography be called?
Oh, autobiography. So it's not what would someone else name a book about you. It's what would you name a book about you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna mull it over. So if you have an idea first,
So
feel free to spit it out.
I'll go ahead. I have a couple options here. First, I have joked about writing a book of just like little nuggets of wisdom with personal stories in it called A Singular Rooster Named Daryl. And it's a reference to a conversation that I had with somebody that would probably come up in the book. I don't know. But I actually had a friend who does like a little bit of graphic design stuff who ended up making a cover for it for me. Um, and it's just a little like goofy thing, but I think that would be fun. It's either going to be that or shouldn't have done that. Uh,
That's pretty fun. It reminds me of the group chat which I was messaging you guys and letting you know kind of the plans for that day.
mhm.
And I said, all right, so the plan is like we only have the venue for the one day, so we can't go in the night before or anything. So we're going to plan to have the reception in the morning, and then uh, we'll get married, do all that. We'll have the rehearsal afterwards, and we'll all be good. And uh, it looks like you maybe caught it, but I did reception and rehearsal. I said the wrong words. I said that we would receive us like you guys, the crowd would we'd have the party and then we'd get married and then we'd rehearse it. And someone pointed it out and made fun of me and was like, no, yeah, like we're gonna get together at the rehearsal and Darren King is gonna say like, all right, guys, here's how it should have gone. Uh, and then Alec Worrell Welch changed the name of the group chat to like here's how it should have gone or here's how it should have went or something like that. And honestly, I feel like that's not a bad autobiography name.
Yeah,
Here's how it should have went.
I think that's a good one. So that's a good first question. The second one is from our friend Jacob Chandler. What is your favorite creepy, unexplained, or weird event that we haven't covered on the podcast yet?
Ooh, what's the list of adjectives?
Creepy, unexplained, or weird. It's got all like slashes, backslashes next to it.
Uh, you said backslashes. What? Which way is the top leaning? Is the top
It's toward the
toward the
right.
right or the left?
It's toward the right.
That's a forward slash.
Oh my gosh. It's got forward
It
slashes
marches
between all of
forward.
them. I never learned that. I just know
Me
that
neither.
one of them goes on, one of them gets used in a URL and the other doesn't really ever.
No.
Wait, does anyone ever use a backslash?
Yes. We could do an episode. We could do an episode on slashes, probably. That could be a good baby archives. Because, so the backslash, the only purpose I've ever seen it used for. So forward slash is like blank slash blank,
Yeah.
or like and a website / but a backslash, the only context I've ever seen it used is as what's called an escape character. And what that means is that in okay, we're diving in here. Uh, this is not an answer to your question at all, Jacob. Uh, but it's an escape character, and essentially what that means is that if you've got what's called a string, so in programming that's just like a word, like a quote, it'll be in quotation marks, and you've got a string, and so your string could be "Hello World." Some letters and characters can have a special purpose if they're like escaped out of the string.
Mm-hmm.
And so an example is if you want a new line in a string, in most languages, you can do within the string, do \n, and it'll like push it down to the next line. So that's an example of a backslash in
Oh,
use.
so it gets used in coding.
Yeah,
Okay. Does it get
yeah.
used in
I
anything
don't.
practical? Uh,
Is it using anything that like gets you friends? Uh,
uh,
the most mysterious thing we haven't covered yet is how Gage and I are still friends after all this. Just kidding. Uh, yeah. So that's that. Maybe
Next
one episode
question.
we could do. Maybe one episode we could do like a coding tutorial or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do a coding tutorial. You can run me through some stuff, and I'll run you through some metal, like copper.
This is iron.
Um, I think my favorite creepy, unexplained, or weird thing that we haven't covered yet is probably the Dyatlov Pass or
Hmm.
the Khmer Devon. Khmer Devon, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's very similar to the Dyatlov Pass, but it happened, I believe, later. And there was actually a survivor who told a firsthand account story of what happened, and it's insane. Um, Pretty sure they both are kind of caused by the same thing, but I want to save that for an episode that we can go over um, because that's a really fun story for me. It's really tragic, actually, but eh,
But it's fun for Gage.
yeah, I like my tragedies, especially the real
Mm.
ones. Uh,
Tragedies nuts. Oh, it's the same energy as it's a really tragic story, but it's fun for me.
yeah.
Did you have more you wanted to say? Because I've got an answer to the actual question as well.
No, that's it. That's it. It's just
Sweet.
those two probably are my favorite.
Yeah. I would say so. One of them. Oh yeah. So one of them is the uh, disappearance, and anyone who's listening to this has almost certainly already heard of it. But the disappearance of the Solder children.
Yeah.
Um, so there's some real spice to that story potentially. And then I would say a second one would be the disappearance of Brian Schaefer. He was recorded going into a bar,
Hmm.
like where that door was the only exit or entrance, was never recorded leaving and was never seen again.
Yeah, those are both wild stories.
Yeah.
Especially
So
like we should do episodes on them, but like
yeah, yeah,
the solder children, the potential conclusions are like insane.
yeah,
But we'll talk about it. That's those are good. Those are good.
yeah. We'll tell you guys when you're older.
Yeah, we'll tell that much like the cats. We'll tell you
Yeah,
when you're older. Um, okay, so here's a question from our friend Eric Wasson.
yeah.
I never say it right. Um, what has been one of your most awkward interactions in the church world?
Cut this, man. I feel like because of kind of the path that we've led, like walked down in our lives, like like the idea of church experience is kind of broad. Like, does an Ozark experience, because it was an experience with the church,
Hmm.
count as a church experience, or is it like you are at a church? Like you're at a building with church on a sign out front.
I'd say like church function or
Uh-huh.
church adjacent. We could probably include Ozark in that. Um,
Well, I won't. I wasn't even going to.
oh, okay.
No, I was still pondering, but I've got an answer. I was thinking the other day about there was a time. Um, so Gage and I went to a little church called Community Christian Church in Fort Scott, Kansas. They're still going. I love that church. I think the world of them. And yeah, I'm just excited for them to continue and grow and all that. Really, really adore that church. Um, every week, uh, Kenny Brennan was in charge of gathering up the men who would, I say men, the men and boys who would pass out communion and like, did we pass offering things? I think we did.
Yeah, we did both.
Uh, he would pick out the men and boys who would do that, and it's like my second time. No, more than that. It's a while in. I've been doing it for a while, and I know that the way that it goes. Oh my gosh, I've got a couple awkward ones. Um, I know that the way that it goes is they like we're done worshiping and then we pray and then we pass them along. And so I get up, gather the stuff, go stand waiting for it. It's still mid song, and I start passing like an idiot. Uh, and so it makes it almost all the way down to the other end where the person who's like with me to collect them on the other side because they're like passing to the next row. He's just standing there with the stuff because he isn't an idiot. I don't know who it is, but it like clicks like, oh no, like Dave Martin knows I'm an idiot now. Uh, like he's holding, he's the one who stopped it and like paused it. Like, oh, I'll hold it here. Thanks, Dave. It was when we were renovating the like sanctuary, whatever we called it,
Mm,
because it was like the first or second week in the gym.
okay.
And then another time, not only was I helping with communion, I was leading the prayer. And so, uh, mid song, as the song is still going, I walk up to the microphone and say, "Pray with me."
Uh,
Fortunately, I don't think it was on, so only like 3 or 4 rows of people heard me. But that was a pretty rough one. That stung a little.
two things. I'll give two quick ones. One time, I think we were in high school. We were doing, I think it was when we did a revival at the church, and we would do those in the gym normally. And you and I were sitting down, like at the same table or right next to each other. And I was trying to whisper to you about the girl that I had a crush on at the
Mm.
time. And you turned to me and you're like, "Hey, could you say it a little quieter? I think Dusty, the guy who was leading worship, can hear you." And that made me feel awkward. The amount of
So
times I
sorry.
tried to give girls my phone number at youth group kind of made me feel awkward.
Mm.
I was the awkward one. Um, and then communion, one time, I happened to pick the one that was supposed to give the prayer for offering, and that Sunday I had just grabbed a T-shirt that was clean, and I'm almost certain I was wearing like cargo shorts or gym shorts, and I was wearing a graphic tee that had a red Mario mushroom on it, and it said "Grow Up." And I walk up in front of this church that paid for my college. I'm pretty sure I was in college at the time.
Ooh,
And that's how I prayed. I was just like, grow up, guys, give us some money.
love it,
So yeah, that has stuck with me. That's a good
man.
one.
Good times.
uh,
Yeah, try to think. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
There's nothing else, probably. Excuse me. If you're a person that grew up in the church with me and I like ever hurt your feelings or anything, I'm so sorry, man. Uh, like, genuine apology. Because I feel like looking back on this, I'm like, man, there's that person who I'm not really close to. And I know it's because I did that, or because I like ghosted them or like whatever. And so, hey, sorry, you're probably not listening to this, but yeah,
You,
let me know if you have beef with me. I'd like to make it right.
if you have beef with either DJ or I, leave it in the comments below.
Hey, if you hate us, smash that like button.
If you hate us, take it out on the like button. Pretend it's our faces. Uh,
Mm,
yeah. No. If you heard me asking if you were high one time and thought I was asking a different question, I'm sorry.
my word, I think about that pretty often. Hey, if we grew up in the church together and you feel like I bullied you, you're welcome. Now that you look up to me.
uh, hey, if I used to knock you down at soccer practice and pick you up and say it builds character, you're welcome because apparently it did. Uh,
Mm,
Next question.
yeah.
What is your favorite non canon or extra biblical literature? Specifically, like that gets thrown into like the
Like
pseudepigrapha,
specifically
apocrypha.
religious.
Yeah, like apocrypha, pseudepigrapha, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, apocrypha means like the hidden, right? I think it's like
Sure.
hidden text or something like that. It's books that like Protestant Christians don't consider to be part of the Bible. Some of them the Catholic and Orthodox still use, but Protestant Christians have cut a handful out just because of tradition and their alignment with the rest of Scripture. And then there are others that just have been considered good and useful for what they are, but not the Word of God. And so there's a lot of cool writings out there. Some of them are kind of not as cool, but yeah.
Um, so who asked this question?
Oh, this is our friend Jacob Chandler.
Cool. Uh, your answer is going to be more interesting than mine, so I'm just going to answer it first. I don't really know too much about like that side of things. I didn't have to I didn't have to take any classes that made me like dig into it or anything like that. Um, so I don't really know a lot of it super well. Gospel of Thomas or something.
It's going to be, yours is going to be more interesting than mine. So I'm going to go first. Gospel of Thomas or something.
I'll be great.
No, so mine is First Enoch.
Sure.
Because first and foremost, Enoch is the dude in the Old Testament who uh, the Book of Genesis says like walked with the Lord. Does not say he died; it just says he walked with the Lord. So he's one of the two people in Scripture who never died, technically, according to what it says. Um, So Enoch also in the book of First Enoch, that's where a lot of the teaching on like fallen angels comes from. That's
Hmm,
where a lot of our understanding of like what the word Nephilim actually means comes from, and it refers to this group of angelic beings as the Watchers, and they're the ones who teach humans a lot of things, kind of like Prometheus in Greek mythology. So it's really interesting, just kind of what's going on there. It's referenced in Jude, and I believe it's also referenced in like Second or Third John or Second Peter.
interesting.
Um, it's not like a quote from it, but it's referenced because it also talks about how they are put into like they're chained into the depths or something like that, and then I'm pretty sure it's Jude that's just like in Jesus when he returns or before he returns, he's going to go and cast judgment on those who are chained in the depth or whatever. Um, and that also is just very interesting when you consider that Paul talks about how like we don't have a battle against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, the powers over this present darkness. Um, and like principalities and powers, technically, according to a lot of biblical scholars, are categories of angelic beings. There's a lot, and I'm preparing an episode for this. So,
Great.
first Enoch, Really cool book. Find a translation of it that's easy to read if you want to. I found it in Barnes and Noble in the witchcraft section, which I thought was weird. Uh, but yeah,
Spicy.
yeah. So that's probably my favorite
That sorry,
non-biblical Bible book.
sweet. And that does remind me. I did a backpacking trip with Ozark called Wilderness Challenge, and the host. It was actually nearby where you and I are going soon for our
Mm-hmm.
canoeing trip. But the leaders talked about some book. I don't think it's like, um, yeah, like a. Sorry, I was listening to what Angel was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like a like an apocryphal book or like what we'd normally think of. But they talk about some book called like Life in the Days of Shem or something like that, or in the days of what who's Noah's dad? Pop quiz for you, loser.
I don't know who Noah's dad
Yeah, me
was.
neither.
I got a Bible.
But like Life in the Days of that guy.
Yeah.
And it's like this book about how like when you live, the idea one of the ideas is like you live 600, 700 years,
Mm-hmm.
like you can get really smart. And so it's kind of like the classic like, did Oppenheimer say like, I wasn't the first one to do this, because there's like evidence of like other nuclear weapons wherever. So the idea like, how advanced did society get before the flood, and when people are living like 600, 700 years like before they die. So
So that's another episode I'm actually preparing.
is it,
Kind of.
what's that book called?
I don't have the book, but like the whole idea of like ancient nuclear weapons or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
That
Not
stuff.
pre-flood
Well,
geniuses.
technically the dates could line up with a pre-flood timeline. So,
Great.
yeah. And a lot of Hindu mythology actually. Hey guys, I know how to do this now. That's it.
Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Bro.
What were
I
you
have
going to
no
say
clue what
though?
you did.
I
What?
I said the Hindu mythology thing and then you said you were about to say something and I interrupted, so I apologize.
Oh, I think I was just going to move to the next question.
Oh, yeah. So, next question from our friend Caleb Ross. If you were a cookie, what would you be?
What kind of cookie is almost 300 pounds of lard? Like that one.
So, there's this guy on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram stuff. He does like these videos. It's like cooking through the ages or whatever, cooking through the decades. And he comes across some recipes from like 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago that are just so wildly unhealthy, but that taste really good according to him. And I always want to try them, if not for the fact that I'm like, that's literally just a tub of lard that you've turned into the shape of a cookie, or that you've made brownies out of or something.
Love that.
Might as well include his at or whatever post production Gage. Got to give the small guys recognition.
It's right up here.
So you're on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, actually.
It's right here. Is where it is.
Yeah.
Click the like button right here.
Click on this. Um, yeah. I would be a smart cookie.
Got him.
uh, what cookie is bald?
I prefer all of my cookies without hair. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I would say chocolate chip though, like on an honest note, because it like was made by accident.
Okay. Oh yeah, I love the story of how chocolate chip cookies were made.
That could be a good episode too.
Yeah. Our friend Jacob Rice asked us, is a taco a sandwich or a hot dog?
What are your thoughts?
Do you know where sandwich comes from?
Um, all I have is I was going to quickly put together a stupid 10-minute story about a sandwich.
So, sandwiches come from, I don't, it's like the Earl of Sandwich, I think, is actually where they come from. And he enjoyed playing poker so much that he actually just told his servants that whenever he was playing poker, because he would play it like all the time. He played poker nonstop, and so he told his servants that when they brought him food, they needed to bring it in a way that he could consume it without letting go of his hand of cards. And so it had to be something that could be eaten in one hand, but he wanted to have meat and he wanted to have cheese. And so what they did is they would actually put it between two pieces of bread, or they would put one piece of bread around it so that he could eat with one hand and still play poker with the other. And that's why they're called sandwiches, because it was the Earl of Sandwich who started this trend or whatever. And so technically, by the origin definition, a sandwich is anything with bread and filling that can be eaten with one hand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of that raises an important thing with like this question always comes up, and it's only ever brought up by two people. Like there's a freaking devil on one shoulder and an angel on one shoulder, but it's two friends that you like care about, and like whatever answer you pick, one of them's gonna be like, actually, and like my game plan when I hear this question is like I identify the closest door, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to be at that door ASAP.
Yeah.
If you get in my way, I will knock you down. Like I'm not answering this question. But what you said, Gage, number one, very nuanced answer. That's nice. Or it opens the door to a nuanced answer. And I think that the question is silly. Like if you can make a case for either or, and that's the point of the question is that you can make a case for either or.
Mm-hmm.
The question isn't like is a taco like the question is a taco a hot dog or a sandwich? The is the same as asking like is a uh, four-sided shape, is that a square or a trapezoid?
Okay.
Like no, a hot dog and a sandwich are both a taco apparently. So the order is all wrong.
Well, technically, a taco and a hot dog are a sandwich.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's
okay.
all one. It's the Trinity. Like this is my new explanation.
Yeah. So I actually was looking at it. I misread the question. It's is a taco slash hot dog a sandwich?
Oh,
So my answer stands because I just defined what a sandwich is.
what I will say is taco slash hot dog opens the door wildly. That's two separate questions.
I think it is.
Um, show me show me something you would classify as a sandwich, and not like a like a sandwich that you wouldn't add some sort of like clarifying like descriptive word to, like an ice cream sandwich or
Mm.
like a whatever sandwich. Show me one of those sandwiches that is made with like a crispy top and like a thin crispy bottom. Like I'm talking like a hard shell taco.
Mm-hmm.
Show me another sandwich where that's the bread, and you've got me on taco. And then not a sandwich like where you have to like name like, oh no, it's like it's one of those like cracker sandwiches from a Lunchable. Like no, show me something that you can look. You say that's a sandwich. Like you don't add qualifiers. It's a sandwich. So tacos out.
Lunchables. Lunchables are just charcuterie boards for children. Okay, next question. This is from our friend Bryce Reeser. I don't think we did this one. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Rice Reeser. Man,
I'm pretty sure we didn't do this one.
no, we didn't.
Okay.
I'm pretty easygoing. Um, so it's probably something with like traffic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if I'm trying to think through like when do I get kind of unreasonably upset about things, like it's probably in traffic and like someone speeding and like how dare they speed past me or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, like yeah, I don't know that I have to think some more. I don't know if you have an answer on deck or not.
So I get along with people, generally speaking. Like I pride myself on that. I probably shouldn't, but like I get along with most people, uh, and I am pretty easygoing with most things. But when somebody is very confidently factually incorrect on something and refuses to be corrected on it. That's a bit of a pet peeve for me. Like it actually like I feel heat rising to my head in those situations. And like it's not like someone just doesn't know.
Yeah.
It's like because everybody's ignorant in some way. Like nobody knows everything, and so like you got to have grace for that. But it's when someone's just like bullheadedly wrong and refuse to be talked off of the wrongness.
So that does make me think. I think that same, like I try to be very easygoing. I all things, all people, try to get
Mm-hmm.
along, all that. But sometimes, and I mean, pet peeve probably isn't quite the word. It's a thing about me that I don't like about me. Um, but like sometimes when I think someone is like I'm making a joke or whatever, and it feels like they're just reacting like bigger than I think they should, or
Mm-hmm.
like taking something more poorly than I think they should. Uh, my response is probably 0% of the time is my response like, "Hey man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do like I just my bad." Almost 100% of the time, I'm just like, I'm a double down. I'm just gonna. They'll see the humor if I just keep doing the thing that annoys them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they explode, and then I'm like, "Hey man, I'm so sorry," and they're like, "Stop talking to me." So a lot of big stuff coming out in this episode.
Okay, so that's a pet peeve.
No, yeah, like when people don't think my jokes are funny, I guess, like
It,
because
it's a
I'm hilarious.
it's a self pet peeve. It's like I dislike this about me that I double down on things. Okay,
No, like the peeve is when they don't think that I'm funny. Then I
that's fair.
like I get annoyed. I double down.
My pet peeve is this dog that I named Peeve. He's pretty cool.
He's a charcuterie board,
For
little peeve.
um,
Randy Garris's dog was named Peevy.
perfect. Pet peevy. This is my pet peevy.
So good. Man, I could hear Randy like doing that on purpose.
I could hear him making that joke. Yeah. Um.
Hmm.
Okay. Next question. This is from our friend Caleb Ross. How long do you think you would last in a fight with a dozen unarmed fifth graders?
Um, I, so that's 12,
12, and they're like,
and they don't have arms. So like someone's gone in and done the hard work for me already. Like like the fun part, but like
someone did the fun part.
now fifth grade is quite the range of human. Like there are some fifth graders. I think that there are some fifth graders that you would look at and like I bet there's at least one fifth grader you look at, you're like, that kid's 17.
Yeah.
Um, and so there's a range, and I bet there is at least one fifth grader out there with like without martial arts training that could still take me in a fight. Like they've got as much fighting training as I have, and they could take me. There's got to be at least one. I'm gonna assume like average fifth graders though.
We're talking about 10-year-olds.
I bet there's one out there. I don't think there are many. I bet there's at least one though.
Okay. Okay.
Like they could take me. Like because there's got to be some just like God was sprinkling in the beef and like he lingered a little long, you know?
God was
Uh
sprinkling in the beef. I like that. He was sprinkling in the beef and lingered a little longer. That's
uh
okay.
yeah. So I bet there's at least one. But let's assume average fifth graders. Like
Yeah.
we need to build up our assumptions here. Average fifth graders.
12
Um
average 10-year-olds. Yeah.
12 average 10-year-olds. But here's the thing. Like I think we have to assume that they're not running away. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
either killing them or dying.
I feel
Like
like
those are the options.
incapacitate is your other option. I feel like you could knock them out.
They're fragile.
Therefore, easy to knock out.
Yeah, and then when they come to, what are you doing then? Like the fight's still on. I bet I could take that. Oh man, they can bite still. because they can overpower you. Like if I can manage to convince them to do one at a time, got it. But like when they all jump on you and they're like biting hard, like that's you become a charcuterie board for children. You're a lunchable.
Uh,
Uh, okay, if they remember that they have teeth, I last about 5 minutes. If they forget teeth, I think I win after about 20 minutes.
so it's a game of attrition.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's a game of attrition. And I feel like here's the thing: unless they're just like brain dead, psychological tactics can still work.
Hmm.
So I may really only have to harm two of these children because I'll pick one up and beat another one mercilessly with it, and the others will run away in fear.
No, so that's why I said we have to have the assumption that you're either killing them or dying. Like these kids, they're not gonna run away. Like they're in it. They're out for blood.
Let's just say on my best day, I'll
I'm a child of God.
yeah. On my best day, I wouldn't be put in this situation.
What about your worst day, Gage?
On my worst day, I would either lose in 15 minutes, probably. I'd say lose in 15. If they're biting, I might go with 10, like you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I said 5.
5? Oh, I thought you said 10.
I might have said 10. Who knows?
I could probably, if my psychological tactics work, I could probably win in 15.
Yeah.
15, 20. If it's just how long do I survive, they cannot die, but they're still just 10-year-olds. They can be knocked out, but when they wake up, they attack again,
Yep.
and it's just how long do I last? Maybe an hour or two.
We don't make any money from this. And I don't think we're ever going to make any money from this episode. When you upload this one, make sure to not click "Made for Kids."
No,
Hey,
of all of the
fifth
episodes,
graders listening to this, I'll kick your butt.
of all the episodes that we've made, this is the only one made for kids, actually. Uh,
Yikes.
okay, next question. The remaining questions that we're going to do, and we'll try to get through, we probably won't do all of them, but we'll go through a handful more of Caleb's and then call it good. Uh, so, Caleb Ross, thank you for all these questions. If all the modern currency in the world disappeared overnight, what do you think would take its place?
Nipples.
Why?
I mean, the the fact that there are only 2 per person, like it's a very tightly controlled currency. Um,
On
you
average,
can't. That's true.
like, there are scenarios where there's one, there are scenarios where there's none.
Maybe a scenario where there's 3.
Maybe.
That person is gonna live it up in the apocalypse.
That's a character in the movie Total Recall, I think.
Good
And
job, Total Recall.
apparently Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie, because Eddie made a joke about Ed having a third nipple in one episode.
So funny. No, I would probably not say nipples. I have heard though. No, this is more inappropriate than I want to say. Like that's not what I was gonna say. It isn't inappropriate. I heard if you cut it off, it regrows.
What?
That's what I've heard. It might just be the tip.
I was gonna say there are people who like get them surgically removed.
Bummer to be those people.
I guess.
Oh no, it's back.
Bottle. It's like a lizard's tail.
Uh huh. I turned around, and there was the nipple.
Uh, Bottle caps. Duh.
Why not? It's a good one.
I don't know. Maybe all those people who are like buy gold are actually right,
Mm,
and it's just
nice.
gonna be gold.
Um, Yeah, a water. I mean, honestly,
Oh yeah, water.
yeah.
Yeah, no, probably yeah, water.
I
Uh,
did. So if you ever have a hankering to play old Flash games, um, like old internet games, there's a tool called it's like Flash Forge or something like that,
hmm,
and it just is a database of old Flash games, and it like lets you play them as well.
okay,
Um, and you should check it out. It like is free and it's awesome. Like they want to make sure that all Flash content that has ever existed like has a home, so that it doesn't disappear.
is it
So
legal?
I mean, I can't think of anything that would be illegal about it.
Okay.
But there's a game that I had never played. I think it was on Armor Games. I never played it, but it's called A Small Favor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this like I don't even know if it's future or if it's just a different planet, but their currency is favors,
Okay.
and so like if you do something for someone, you get a favor, and I don't know exactly how that works,
Hmm.
but like you're being told to go do a quest like to kill some person, and if you do it you're gonna get like 100 favors or something like
Okay.
that.
Nifty. Um, imagine that you're a supervillain.
Done.
What kind of hero would you like to be your nemesis?
None. Boom. That's why I'm on top. Let's go.
I would say I'm a supervillain. Like, why do I want a hero?
Yeah.
I'm not the Joker. Well, yeah, I mean, like, the basis of his character is that he and Batman are two sides of the same coin. Like, they kind
Yeah.
of, they almost need each other to exist to the degree that they do. So, like,
What I will say,
yeah.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
your superhero would be Superman.
Why? Oh. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Um, if I was blue, it would be whoever the hero is in The Watchmen.
It would be whoever the hero is in the Blue Man Group shows.
It would be, yeah. I mean, none is the right answer, though.
Yeah. No, like if I were trying to make a good story, if you wanted a good story, so the superhero is like kind of like my antithesis or whatever, it would just be like the exercise guy from Lazy Town. That's that's it.
My superhero that would fight against me would be Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
You turned him.
Yeah, yeah, basically. I'm actually his evil twin.
Your parents were there for your birthday, for your
Yeah,
birth.
exactly. Okay, so next question. Out of all the old world things that have faded with time, what do you think should, or would be really cool if it did, make a comeback?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is like just kind of the lack of like security on things. So like you've got the classic John Mulaney joke about like all you had to do to be a criminal was like not be there when the cops arrived.
Yeah.
Like I love it. Like the idea like if right now if I decided all right, I'm just going to leave. Like I'm going to drop all my responsibilities and I'm just going to go like live in the woods or like go to Mexico or whatever. Like I'm just going to flee everything. I'd be found within like at most 3 days.
Hmm.
Whereas like back in the 70s, like you could like start a new family like 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be clear, I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
but like just the idea of it just being a thing, like the lack of like a digital trail is great. So that's not like an old world invention. Like they didn't invent not tracking people constantly every second of the day. But
Ah, my good friend, Shane DJ.
mm, love it. That's a good name.
What's really funny, his last name is spelled Madej.
Uh-huh.
So Saint
With
Medij.
EJ.
Um,
Yeah.
honestly, I think like duels or trial by like combat type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, a lot of stuff could really be solved if we just let people duke it out.
That's true. The presidential debate.
Please.
Like,
But yeah, no, like trial by combat, duels, stuff like that. And I know they kind of have that in Washington State or Oregon State, one of the two, with mutual combat. I think it should be a national thing. Like if two people decide they're going to have a fight, unless they kill one another, no charges can be pressed. Two consenting adults want to duke it out in the street,
yeah.
let them.
I think in the street I might have a bit of an issue with, but yeah, like
In an alleyway.
I am here for two consenting adults. Like, let them do it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily really believe that would solve a lot of problems. I think it would end up with a lot more problems of different kinds. But I don't know, just letting people fight it out sometimes really is what's best.
Yeah,
I mean, Jacob did it with God.
sure.
Yeah, so
Pirates. Oh, like we still have them, but like high seas pirates.
yeah.
Like like you if you get attacked by pirates nowadays, it's gonna be people like they're in kind of a small boat, and like they're an effective crew. They've got their 12 people, and they're gonna come take your ship,
Mm-hmm.
and now they own your ship, and like that's not good. That's like it's as bad now as it was then. But like I want to see them in a sailboat.
You
Maybe
know what?
sailboats is really the
Sailboats. Sailboats.
yeah.
That's the thing that needs to make a comeback. That reminded me of a joke, and then we'll end here pretty quick. One more question, probably. Uh, what's a pirate's favorite letter, DJ?
Are
Ye think it be R, but his first love be the sea.
love it. That's so good. There was a
Uh,
joke I was thinking of today. Oh, it's okay. Here's a dumb one. You ready for it? I was gonna tell someone and I didn't end
I'm
up telling
so
you.
ready for it.
All right. So Batman and Robin are at the Batcave, and they've just gotten the call that Joker is out in town. He's about to like rob a bank or something, and so they're going through their quick checklist uh, before they leave. It's nighttime, and so um, Batman's like, "All right, so we got the car." It's like check. All right, we remember the flashlight. Check. We've got the batarangs. Check. And Batman tries. He decides to check the flashlight one more time. Sees it doesn't turn on. He says, "Hey, could you grab some batteries?" Robin says, "The frick is a tree."
Uh, I'm the target audience for that joke.
Good, 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 good.
Okay, so I am torn.
We can ask two more questions. My out was 7:45.
Okay, so let's go. I want to save that one for the very last, but I'm going to pick one more before it. If you could remove one common word from the English language, what word would you get rid of?
The
I was going to say like.
hmm. I don't know what how our speech would sound if those two words were missing.
It would be fine, I think. For instance,
Wow. Uh,
I could
welcome to
use
everything
a.
but cats.
Everything but a specific group of cats.
Amen.
Amen. And then the final question. Actually, there's two more, and they kind of go hand in hand. One, how many lights?
How many lights?
Yeah.
So my company GNPI has an initiative called 100 Lights, and the idea is we're trying to train up 100 new teams
Hmm.
to create media that shares Jesus. You can go to gnpi.org/donate to help today. You can also gnpi.org/pray is a good option. Um, tell you what, if you do that, I don't know, make the joke anyways. You're paying my salary pretty much anyways, so just cut out the middleman Hit me up on Venmo.
You,
Thanks.
you can hit me up on Venmo. Gigi no cats. Um, uh,
How many lights?
yeah.
6?
One, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Mm. Amen.
And then the last question. How many nickels is too many nickels?
So, yes. Now, what does 1 nickel weigh? How many nickels is too many nickels? I would say they feel like the dumbest currency.
Dumber than
Like,
pennies?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like I feel like pennies are fun. But nickels are just like, what are you doing here? No one invited you to this party. Get out. If you have two, you could have a dime. And dimes are smaller and lighter and more efficient. So 2 is the answer.
I would say 3,275,962.
You heard it here, folks. It's an average of 1 million something.
Yep. So if you have that many, you are on average having too many.
That's true. Hey, U.S. Treasury, save some for the rest of us.
Hey, banks.
Don't forget, it was the Suggins gang.
Golden Joe and the Suggins gang. Well,
Yeah.
this has been.
You,
Go ahead.
oh, do you have like one more question?
If the world was going to end in 10 minutes, what would you want to spend that time doing?
Like, I know there's no hope of survival. World is ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know that the answer has always been this, but the answer definitely now is like I go hold my boy with Angela,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna hang out. We probably call our parents or whatever. Yeah, ride it out.
Similar. I don't have a boy yet, or a wife. So I would go downstairs with my parents probably. Just hang out with them.
I say, hey Angela, you hold Isaiah. I'm gonna play FIFA.
I'm going to get one last game in. One last
Yeah,
El Clasico. DJ,
I'll quickly
I'm
buy.
calling you. We're going to play
Yeah,
online. One last game of ARAM. All random, all mid league.
mm, you know me.
Remember that
I
time
don't
everyone
play.
on our floor got into league for a minute?
Not me.
You never
Not.
played?
I don't want to sound like I'm like. Actually, I didn't. But I never got into it. I didn't have like it didn't require a beefy computer, but I still like did not have a computer for it.
Didn't you have a tablet at that time?
Oh yeah, my computer broke, but
Yeah.
it was big like before we got into college, and I did have a computer at first, and then my computer broke, and I only had a tablet for like the rest of college. I did 3 years of college with only a tablet,
You heard it
which
here,
is
folks.
insane.
You can do it too.
Don't just drop like $200 or something. Like I bought a number of PlayStation 4s during college. Like I bought multiple PS4s, and I did all of college with a tablet.
Uh,
Just yeah.
these are words to live by. If your
These are words to
option
live.
is to get a new laptop or to buy multiple PlayStation 4s, get the
The
laptop.
PS4s never did me wrong. Oh, uh, yeah, I get the laptop. Anyways, who have we been, Gage?
We have been everything but the cats, doing another mailbag episode. This is probably going to be our last for a while, unless you guys would like to send us more questions. If you would like to leave questions in the comments below, we will save those up for another episode, unless it's one that requires a full episode all of its own. If you run into the like button, remind it that it is not allowed to talk about the cats, and use force if necessary.
If you see the like button, harvest its nipples for the post-apocalypse that's coming up before you know it.
Exactly. Turn it into a charcuterie board.
If you
Uh,
see the like button, record the most inappropriate episode you've ever recorded with it, and then watch it squirm as it tries to edit the episode.
I'm gonna be live streaming the editing process of this one, so you can do that actually. Uh, um, Anywho, we have been everything but the cats. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a joy to be able to hang out with my good friend DJ, and also to hang out with you, fine and dandy folks, wherever you may be. If you've made it this far, I want to say thank you for sticking with us because that's
You're welcome. It's
impressive.
fine.
But yeah, please do whatever the thing is. If you're on our listening platforms, Spotify, Podbean, Apple Music, whatever, Amazon Music, whatever you're listening on, please go ahead and subscribe, leave a review, whatever they allow you to do, rating, all that stuff. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment below, like, share with your friends, subscribe, whatever. Even if you don't, we still love you and appreciate you. It's just a little bit more if you do those things, actually.
Yeah.
It's noticeably
We're
more.
like parents.
Yeah.
Like every parent, they're gonna hit you with that. Like ask your mom right now. Do you love me or my sibling more? If you're an only child, obviously you know that everyone loves you more than they've ever loved anyone else. Yeah, I said it. We were all thinking it. Um, but if you have siblings, hey, I don't dislike only children. If you have siblings, ask your mom which one she prefers, and she's gonna hit you with that. I love all my kids equally. It's BS. Like it's either you or it's not.
It's not in my case. Anywho, thank you, you lovely people. I want to give a couple other thank yous. One to our friend Adam Ward for making our intro
Hmm.
music and also just being a stand up guy. I want to say thank you to Jared Scrother for neither of those things. I'm kidding.
Outro.
I want to say thank you to Jared Scrother for our outro music and also for being a stand up guy. He also makes like really cool stuff. If you want to follow him on Instagram, which I've been leaving in the video, you can
Okay.
follow his journey into like video production as well. Adam's on Spotify and he makes some pretty dang cool music. Um, Thank you to everybody else who's been involved with this process with us. You're all great people,
Yes.
and we've really enjoyed getting to do this, and we are looking forward to continuing it. I'm excited because here pretty soon, you're probably going to be seeing us together,
Bro.
and that'll be a good time with another good friend in Evan, uh, who
Yes.
once was in Fox Royale. Who
Yeah.
we have another episode on. If you're on YouTube, it's on Spotify. It's a pretty fun one. But yeah, thank you to everybody. You're all great. We love you, and stay good people.
Yeah. If you guys are cool or whatever, thank thank yourselves, I guess. Bye.